Hi, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. We'll just wait a couple more minutes.
Yeah, I can. Sure.
Okay, I think we can go ahead and get started. Just a heads up, we're having really bad storms where I am right now, and power keeps going in and out. So if I vanish, Phil is going to come into the rescue and help lead the meeting. So we will go ahead and get started with the 5G update from Suresh.
Yes, Kendall. Uh, this week we had a good news. So the fab builds on the Magma 5G branch are happening, and TerraVM team started testing on the package prepared out of Magma 5G branch. Um, they have installed package and then tried tests. But there is an interesting issue. Say in our integration test environment using DS tester and also using NGAP tester, somehow we never had hit an issue in and a crash in the particular area that TerraVM team have, and we wanted to check with them offline on the way the build is made out of the code base on which day and all that kind of things we want to discuss offline. So that is one thing. And the other thing is, say we have three different simulator environments today: NGAP tester, DS tester, and TerraVM. So we have created a consolidated list of tests for particularly for the negative scenarios of the yeah, 5G standalone code. So we'll be testing from all these simulators for all these test scenarios over the next couple of weeks, and to arrive at better level of stability on the Magma 5G branch, while the branch is also going for a migration to Magma Master. So this is the update from my side, Kendall.
Great, thank you, Suresh. Does anyone have any questions?
Anyone having any questions?
All right, great. Thanks, Suresh. We'll just move right along to DevOps updates. Tarek, is that from you or Tim?
Uh, yeah, I was told Tim will do it today, but I don't see him joined yet. Um,
I
so
can give
the,
an update if you want.
yeah, so yeah, sorry, Jessica. So one update, and then I'll switch to you, Jessica. I was told that there's gonna be a presentation today on the migration to GitHub Actions. So that Jessica, I think she will be doing. The second update is Tim has been working on landing CI for Ubuntu packages migration and publishing packages for Ubuntu builds. That went live a couple of days ago. So that's a great achievement for us, since in 1.6 we're going Ubuntu only as a build for 1.6. No other kind of major update, but Jessica, please go ahead.
Thank you. Yeah, so it's on regards to the GitHub Actions. I'm still working with Tim on getting them going. He's helping me with the secret management part. So once that is resolved, we should be able to spin off the pull requests that we have already opened against the Magma repo. On regards to the presentation, this is actually a Jenkins on the side of the Jenkins setup. So let me 1 second. Let me see if you can, let me know if you can see the dashboard that I'm showing.
Yes, we can.
Yeah.
And just, are you able to see the tab change here?
Yep.
Okay, so this is the Jenkins setup right now. It's ready and it's fully ready to be used. Right now, the only jobs that you're gonna see right now is the CI management, verify, merge jobs, which is basically under the CI management repo. And this CI management repo is the one hosting all the Jenkins jobs that are gonna be written against any other Magma repo. So if there's any CI jobs that need to be migrated from Circle CI, they're gonna be placed and code inside this repo. And let me explain a little bit the structure of how this repo looks like. So here, the CI management repo, we have two main folders. Three. Well, four. Sorry, they're worth mentioning, I should say. This first one, the global JJB one, it's a collection of libraries that Linux Foundation writes for all the projects that we manage to use as a centralized library set. So if there's a common, for example, a common Maven job, a common Docker job, they're all going to be written in this submodule called global JJB. And if there's any job that Magma writes that could be potentially shared across any other project or could be useful for any other project, we can write it here in global JJB, and other projects can also benefit from that. So it's like a collection of library of jobs. And currently the only ones that we are using for the purpose of Magma, they're all related to the cloud management and to the CI management, the actual management of this repo itself. So other than that, we're not using any other of the libraries, but in future that might change. The Jenkins config part, this is where you guys can see how our cloud management is being configured. So we have here the global variables for Jenkins. We have a server that is actually production and another one that is sandbox. So I'll get back to that in a bit. But we have here a few global variables. And then here in clouds, OpenStack Bex, we have the actual nodes that we're using. We have one that is CentOS, and we have another Ubuntu node. And as we grow, we're going to potentially be adding more different configuration of nodes. And over here, this folder, this JJB folder, is the one that is going to be hosting the actual templates, job templates, and the actual jobs that are going to be written for our repos. And this is done all via Jenkins Job Builder. So if, for example, if we take an example, this is a CI management YAML file. And this is where we are calling all the jobs that I mentioned before. They're called from global JJB, which is the collection of libraries that we have. So this particular job is part of that library collection. And we have here defined this job and defined the variables, etc. So it kind of looks very similar to what GitHub Actions looks like, right? But it's certainly very easy to understand. So that is the this JGB folder is the one that is going to be hosting all those templates. And last but not least, there's this Packer folder that is basically going to be another submodule called Common Packer. And this is another LF maintained repository that it's in charge of managing all the cloud configuration. So for example, if we need an Ubuntu node with certain specific tools, we configure those in Packer. And then we spin a Packer job to produce a new node based with those additional tools and make it available in our Jenkins. So all of that is managed over here. So this is basically the main structure of Global JJB. Of CI management. And in future, we're planning to do a small tutorial on how to configure a job, more like a hands-on with the DevOps team interested in writing new templates. So we're gonna be making a hands-on session on how to write those templates, so and how to test them, etc. So yeah, this is how the CI management repo looks like and what it does. As I was mentioning earlier, we have this Jenkins server, which it is basically the production server, and we already have it working for a few of the pull requests that I've created for the CI management repo. And also we have the sandbox, and this sandbox, it's going to be used for teams to test any templates. So this is basically our playground for developing new templates and developing new jobs or new pipelines, etc. And once we test them here, we can launch them into the production server so that they're available for everybody and ready to be used. And this is an example of how it will appear in a pull request. So this is a pull request that I'm working on for against the CI management repo. And as part of the verifies, we're making this verify job a requirement. So this verify job is basically the verify job over here in Jenkins. So again, if you guys go here and look at the configuration, you can see how the job is configured, and if you have any questions on how the triggers work or how the build steps are that we are running, so everybody should be able to be able to view this part of the configuration. It's not going to be possible to edit it. We don't extend those permissions to edit jobs directly into Jenkins. Everything should be done via commits into the CI management repo. And any changes that you want to do to any of the jobs should be done via commits to this particular repo. Is there any questions so far? Am I going too fast? I'm sorry.
Just the background for people who don't know why we are using Jenkins and GitHub Actions, if you want to elaborate a little bit on that.
Yes. So right now we have all our CI based on Circle CI. And there is this work that we're doing for migrating that part of migrating away from Circle CI. And we have two candidates right now. We had the Jenkins side of the migration and the GitHub Actions side of the migration. The difference between why we're choosing one for some jobs and why we're choosing another for other jobs is because GitHub Actions might have a little bit of a security concern when it comes to some of the jobs in Circle CI that required it. So the most security dependent jobs that we have in Circle CI, they're going to be placed into Jenkins, whereas the majority of the rest of the workflows that we have in Circle CI, they're going to be placed into GitHub Actions. So I think if I'm not mistaken, I think it's going to look more or less like a 15% to 20% of the workflows under Jenkins and the rest in GitHub Actions. If I'm not mistaken, I think Tim probably has a better estimate on how that's gonna look like. But yeah, that's the full story behind this and why we have Jenkins here created.
Thanks, Jessica.
Yeah. So for anybody that is interested in start using it, I can send I will send around a little bit of more structured information on where to start and how to get up to speed with how Jenkins Job Builder works. And also we have our documentation from LF that explains how to use the sandbox and how to, from the moment you clone this CI management repo, and how do you configure it to call Jenkins Job Builder so that it can start pushing a test to the Jenkins sandbox and people can start playing with it basically. But the main requirement that this needs is for the user to have an LF ID account. So the access is all done via LF ID. I will send all this information in the mailing list. I know it's probably a little bit difficult to keep track of all the steps involved, but I will send an email to the mailing list and with all the step 1, step 2, etc. Any questions? Okay, back to you.
Thanks, Jessica. So for the last thing on the agenda, we have release updates from Echo.
Yeah, thanks, Kendall. So on the execution front, nothing major. Team is still hard at work on the second sprint. We are using ZenHub to track everything. So for anyone interested in the workstream that I shared last week in the press release, please check out ZenHub for the latest. On the release side, we've been talking about a minor 1.5.1 release. We are still working really hard to get that out. We've applied lots of fixes and patches to some known issues that were affecting the 1.5 release. We are still testing and validating it, and we are pushing very hard to get that release out by the end of the week. For the future planning purposes, usually, traditionally, Magma has always had a quarterly planning cadence where we try to figure out what we should work on for the next release. We are about to kick off that cycle again. And the ask to the community here is if anyone is taking on any major development work that is worth tracking as part of our roadmap, please reach out to me, let me know, and then we'll incorporate that into our planning just to be sure that we have the right coverage and support. So that's pretty much it for the execution and the release updates. Any questions?
Question on the 1.5.1 release plan for the end of this week. That's going to be produced for both Debian and Ubuntu. Is that correct?
Yes. So 1.5.1 will be I think the last release that has both the Debian and Ubuntu. From 1.6, everything is Ubuntu based on.
And is there a migration process created for switching a deployed AGW from Debian to a new Ubuntu image?
There is a path. I think having this on the call, maybe you could speak to this a little bit more better than I could. There was a plan. There was talk about automation, but we haven't properly documented.
Yeah. There's no automatic way of upgrading from Debian to Ubuntu. You have to do it box by box manually and reinstall Magma. The issue is we looked at this before, and given the the investment and the amount of effort needed to do this, I think, and the number of gateways already deployed with Debian not being that large of a number, I think it's safe to document how to install Ubuntu from scratch and reinstall Magma rather than just an upgrade. It's not going to be an upgrade. It's going to be a fresh install. So if you have concern with that, Joey, let's take it offline and we can discuss. There's something that of a concern here.
Gotcha. Yeah, we'll need to talk about this internally, and then I'll reach out.
Yeah. So gateways do not carry any permanent state. So if you just reinstall the gateway, it should go back to where it was. I think there's a document that talks about the hardware IDs and how do you sustain that same hardware ID so that the gateway still registers with an existing registration. But I think beyond that, there's nothing specific that needs to happen. But happy to work with you if there's anything missing in the document. In this regard, we can work it out.
Where is that document located? Is it in GitHub?
It should be. Let me find it out. I'll send it to you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tariq. Any other questions? Kendall, back to you. Thanks.
Great, thank you, Echo. So that actually brings us to the end of our agenda. Is there anything else that people would like to bring up and discuss, or does anyone have any questions? All right, great. Then we can end this early. Everyone have a great rest of your week and enjoy your weekend.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.